And I guess feel free to be animated with it, because I think that's one thing I have to put a little bit more effort in.
Myself. It's just like trying not to be animated.
Right.
Can't help myself.
All right, welcome to another episode of What's Up on a Screen. My name is Bryan Navarro, and this is our special guest host, Ellie Diez.
Hi, guys.
And today we're going to be talking about Parasite by Bong Joon-Ho. I had no idea about this movie when it came out. Ellie here actually told me to go watch it. Ellie, how did you find out about this movie?
So I have this roommate. He's fantastic. He loves watching movies, and he has lots of information about movies. Right. He's always showing me trailers, and he came home one day and was like, oh my God, this is the best movie in the world. You got to see this movie. Yeah. So I saw the trailer,
right,
and I thought it was a horror film.
Yeah.
Right?
It kind of seemed like that a little bit.
Yeah. And
like named Parasite, you think something's going to infect you, and then you're going to turn into a zombie or some kind of monster.
And
or
an
something
Asian
like that.
film. And also the trailer, the way it was shot and the music. I thought it was going to be totally scary, and it was scary.
It was.
But it was a different kind of scary.
Right. Kind of more like a thriller, I guess.
Psychological thriller. So I found out about it, saw the trailer, and it was playing, right next to where we work, so...
You ain't gonna know about that.
No.
I'm just joking. You'll see us around, we're famous, so...
You're famous,
that'll change. We're both famous. Yeah.
So I saw that it was playing. I saw that it was playing at a specific time that I could go, and I didn't even think about it. I said, let's go. So I was going to go alone, but then you popped along, and I said, let's do it. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if I wanted to see it either. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, foreign cinema. I think it's really nice to get, like, a fresh taste rather than, like, the same old kind of Marvel stuff. I just pick on Marvel and Disney. Sorry for everybody that loves it. My sister loves it, so, hey, there you go.
And it's good. It's just that it's really nice to see a foreign film because they don't adhere to the formula, to the things that you're used to. Boy meets girl, girl falls in love with boy leaves her, then they get back together, blah, blah, blah. So this was totally different, unexpected, scary, but different scary. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the scary
let's talk about the scariness.
Stuff?
Yeah, sure. I don't want to, let's keep.
I don't want to give stuff
that.
away, but there were some moments that, I screamed, right? A couple of times.
Oh my God. I forgot about that. So, first we bought our tickets. This is like an AMC. They, sell us on the whole $6 thing, which was great. Sorry, we'll bleep that out. It was awesome. We got there. And somebody was already sitting in our seats, so then we decided to sit in the handicap seats, and
more leg room.
More leg room. I kid you not, though. Ellie was the riot of the theater going on. Everything that happened, funny, scary. She was loving it, which was exciting because it's always fun to go to the theater with people that are really into the movie. But at sometimes, I think some people in the back were just kind of really, what's going on? But it was
I
great.
couldn't help myself because there were so many parts of the movie that just were unexpected. I don't want to give away too much information about it, but there was that. Can I say that moment?
Sure. I can't read your mind, so you might as well.
That moment with the lady, the servant.
Oh, the original housemaid.
Okay, so there was the original. Yeah, she wasn't a servant, but she was the original housemaid.
Yeah, Moon Guang was the character's name. Yeah, Moon Guang.
Thank you. And there's just a part where she is basically up against the wall, kind of sideways, and the shot is just her body with her arms and her legs kind of up against the wall. And so
it's in the basement. This is during the part of the movie where the rich family is going camping, right? And then the poor family kind of just moves in overnight, and they're drunk, having a good time,
and they're
just
drunk.
Enjoying everything.
A mom, dad, the kids, they're just sitting around getting drunk, eating food, lounging. I was freaking out because I was like, the family's gonna come any minute.
I know, you're thinking that the whole time.
I was freaking out, and then the doorbell rings, and it's the woman who used to live there. And which of course I was like, don't let her in.
Yeah, like what do you think?
Why would
she had like all those weird scabs and stuff on her face.
And she was all like messed up and it's raining and she's like, please open the door.
You do feel kind of sorry for her, I guess.
I didn't. I was like, don't open the door. Don't open it.
I mean, I probably would have opened it, but I did feel sorry.
No, I would have been like, come back tomorrow when it's not dark and raining and we're not drunk.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
But yeah, so
set the mood.
Yes, so they take her, so they let her in, and then there's this shot of her, you know, sort of up against the wall, and it's just so weird. And there was a lot of shots like that, you know, with the dogs, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I noticed like in the film. I mean, it's Korean cinema, and I think this is just my opinion. I think Korean cinema is really good. It has been for maybe over 20 years, since like Old Boy, even before that.
Oh, Old Boy.
And like Bong Joon-Ho, he did Snowpiercer. He did
Mother.
Okja. No, he didn't do Mother. I think that was the cinematographer.
Oh, got it. Okay.
We'll look that up in a second. But what was I saying?
Snowpiercer.
Right. He did those movies. He's just really good at. He's really good at just like structuring the mise en scène of the whole thing. Mise en scène is kind of like the whole. What's in the frame, the composition, like where the actors are going, from the production design. They like built the house. They built the community, the ghetto that they lived in, just because I guess they couldn't flood a real city, so they had to do that. And it was funny because I guess what they used for like all the bile and stuff coming out of like the sewer was charcoal face mask stuff. So it's like actually good for your skin.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's cool. Like they're actually like doing that. So looking out for the cast and
it was
members.
Really cool. Now that you mentioned that, because you see a stark contrast between the world of the rich people and the world of the poor people. And
it's pretty universal.
And also, if you remember, it was really dark for the poor people's world, and it was very bright for the rich people's world. That. Yeah.
I guess there was a little more sunlight because they were living in like a semi-basement or whatever. And then I really felt like, because being in Los Angeles, seeing the rich family's home, it looked like a little McMansion you would see anywhere.
Yes, in Beverly Hills.
So it's very easy to kind of put yourself in that home in a way, or kind of see what it would be like, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it definitely felt like a classic telling of like greed or something like that, kind of like a parable or something of the sort.
And also just the fact that, you know, what struck me was the fact that the poor family is doing all of these illegal things.
Right.
All of these things to get into the home of the rich people. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of celebrated. Because remember the part where the father's like, oh my God, you'd get a degree in Photoshop.
Oh yeah,
right?
He's like, you could go to like university, or you could get a job.
Yes,
or something like
and
that.
So you'd think that the father would be like, don't do that, that's illegal, you can go to jail, but they were all in on it, and they were celebrating the fact that they were going to get over on this rich family.
And you're kind of rooting for them too, because it really starts off like with a real simple, poor family. They're like folding pizza boxes to make a living. I couldn't even imagine somebody having a job like that in the United States. But that was like it. When they started the movie, you do kind of just like fall into it a little bit easier than, I mean, for not knowing the language and anything, you kind of really empathize, I guess.
I mean, I didn't even think about it. You know, there was not a moment that I thought about the language. The story was so good. But then coming back to the fact that they were doing illegal things, somebody else was talking to me about the movie, and they were saying how even though they were doing illegal things, when the old housemaid came back, they were ready to just like
saying, we're not going to help you.
We're not going to help you. So they, even amongst themselves, they were parasites. So it wasn't even like, oh, I'm poor, you're poor, let's help each other. It was more like,
get out of here, this is our home now.
Really like, everybody get out of my way because I'm going to take what's mine. Mm-hmm. Even the rich guy, because remember when the guy when the father says to him, you really love your wife.
Oh yeah.
And he kind of just laughs and he goes,
she's kind of like a trophy wife or something.
Yeah. So everybody's using everybody.
Right. And it's all about like keeping up appearances in a way, because the rich father with like the trophy wife and like the perfect home, and then like trying to give his kids like the most. They'll spend anything hiring this poor family. Like, oh, she's with the poor daughter being like framing herself as an art therapist.
As an art therapist.
Like, that was interesting. Like, I've never heard of that before. Getting the dad to like be a chauffeur. And I think one of my favorite scenes was when the poor son, let me see his name here real quick, Kiwoo, he wrote like an entire script for Kim Ki-taek to read, and it was about him trying to convince the rich mother that the original housemaid had tuberculosis. And that part was hilarious because it's kind of like watching, I mean,
that
like an actor.
And it reminded me of Pulp Fiction. Remember when they're talking about how you have to memorize your monologue?
Reservoir Dogs, I think.
Yes, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
And you have to believe the story, and he's in the bathroom telling the story and repeating it over and over.
Right.
They did the same thing with the family, just sitting around practicing their lie, which I thought was genius.
Yeah, and it was fun to see the father get into it, and like even the mother's like going along with the ride too, and I just thought it was entertaining to see. Like, it's always fun when you see like people in less advantageous parts of their lives taking advantage of. It's like a Robin Hood kind of story in a way. Yeah, taking advantage of the rich people that are just completely oblivious to what's going on around them, and you're definitely rooting for them.
But I think that if you're rich and you're watching the movie,
you're probably like, these people,
rooting for your people. So I feel like they really portrayed both people, like the rich and the poor, in such a true fashion that if you're poor, you're rooting for the poor people, but if you're rich, because there was a moment that I was thinking, oh my God, you have money, and then you have to be careful of anybody who comes into your life.
Yeah.
So I definitely had that thought.
Mm-hmm. Hence Parasite.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I remember the director was talking about that concept of it, and I mean, the movie was budgeted at $11 million. It made, I think, like $114 million worldwide. And they asked him if he thought it would be a success or how he thought it would translate over cultures. And I'm sure he didn't think it would be like a number one movie, although it did win the Palme d'Or at Cannes. But he said that, I guess we all have a universal government, he said, and that is capitalism. And that kind of transcends cultures. So that's why I think anybody, anywhere could watch it and really understand the nature of the story going on there. But yeah, I guess going into the more metaphysical aspect of the movie, what did the rock represent? That stone that his friend gives him? It was like a token of good fortune, I guess, but it also kind of seemed like an omen of a catalyst of things are going to start changing in the story, and they may not. It might be a curse, and it kind of was in a way, because spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. But the son, he after they're all like found out, and they end up sneaking out of the house, and they're invited to the young boy's birthday party the next day. He brings the rock with him to go and smash the husband of the original housemaid's head in, but it turns over and he gets his head smashed in. So it's kind of like it's not like the Midas touch or something like that, where it's like a gift, but then it comes back at you, and it's like a curse in a way.
Yeah, and I feel like it's the same thing as it's greed.
Yeah.
Because the poor boy gets this job,
right.
And instead of just taking the job and being happy, he wants more. Then he brings in the sister, then they want more. Then he brings in the father, then the mother. And it's like, it's this constant parasite. It's this constant more.
Right.
Just devour everything in front of you.
Oh, yeah. They just, it was really well paced, and you really go along for the ride, and the cinematography.
Beautiful.
I can't recall the soundtrack as much, but the cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah.
From just like the movements to just letting scenes play out, and I guess like from the lighting and everything, it really just kind of set the tone. Right, yeah,
there were so many little details, and that's what I love about foreign films.
Yeah, they didn't need explosions. They didn't need like all this crazy stuff.
And they didn't need to even go into so much explanation. It was the peach fuzz because the the woman who worked in the house, the maid, she was allergic to peaches. So that's how they kind of get rid of her, with peach fuzz. And then also the blood.
They're really crafty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
the
with
blood,
the
with
tuberculosis when she coughed.
Right, but it was that whatever,
like the little
that
spicy sauce.
That spicy, so those
it's
Asian
like oil.
sauces where you're like, it's so red. Why is it so red?
Like deep red.
So
they might have maybe made it extra red for the movie, but it looked pretty convincing for sure. Yeah, that was cool. I think. What did you think was in the basement? I had no idea.
Dude, I don't know.
And what was wrong with the son? I thought there might have been some kind of
the son was definitely
or something. But
did you?
Maybe I didn't know what to think.
I didn't really think of that. I did leave thinking, what's up with the son?
Right.
And also, but the son had seen the servants.
Yeah, he just didn't know who it was
father.
because he didn't know anything was down there. Yeah.
Yeah, the servant's husband.
Right.
Yeah. So he had seen him, and that's why he thought there was a ghost in the house. But it was actually that man that was living in the basement.
Yeah.
Who was so weird.
That was pretty weird. I felt like that was. It kind of reminded me of like Old Boy and more of the darker, like The Man from Nowhere. A lot of darker South Korean films. Like he's just in a bunker and like he's like sending the message via Morse code with his forehead, and he's so. That was kind of sad too. I guess the whole like outcome of the characters with the original maid, like she was kicked down the stairs. Like you just see it's amazing because you don't really feel that the poor family is capable of such, I guess, behavior, but
they have
relentless.
No morals.
She just kicked the poor mom just. Like kicked the old maid down the stairs, and then she just flew down the stairs, got a concussion, and then she ends up like, unfortunately, like passing away, and then that leads to like revenge for like the husband.
But I feel like all of them were like that. They were all capable of destroying anybody in their path.
Right.
The rich people and the poor people. So that was kind of cool because it made them the same. And I don't feel like the director was saying, "Oh, look at these poor people, how bad they are," or "Look at these rich people, how bad they are." It's just everybody. They're a victim of society. Right.
Yeah, their position. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, it was a pretty good ending, I would say. It was. I mean, it's always sad, like when characters die, or especially ones that you care about, like the daughter.
The daughter, I didn't want her to die.
Because she was cool. She was smart.
She was the smartest one.
And like, I liked her behavior. It wasn't like a typical kind of like bombshell Hollywood kind of badass, but she was still badass. She was still kind of like could take care of her own, you know.
Because she was normal, and that's what it was that I liked about her.
She was compared to everybody when they were all drunk.
She was normal. Yeah. She was pretty, but she wasn't, like you said, like this bombshell of a girl. But then in moments, like the trailer when she's doing. Rehearsing the lines with
that was
brother.
Cool. Like, would that work in English or is it better in like Korean? Yeah.
Who knows? I wish I spoke Korean or understood it at least. But she, you know, I was sad that she. But of course, she was the strongest one. So.
Yeah. Do you think there was some kind of thing about the whole Native American thing with like the son and then dressing up at the end, or was that kind of more to, you think, to ridicule the father? Since he's like, you're getting paid more for this, Mr. Kim. Like, do this. It's my son's birthday, type of thing. Because I felt like
in the beginning the mother said that the son was into the Native American thing, and so she said, "Oh, we bought this from America." So I feel like
that was funny too.
He did mention it in the movie, like saying,
like American things are kind of better. I don't know much about South Korean culture and stuff. I don't mean to say anything or whatever, but it kind of seemed like. It's funny because when we say made in the USA, that rarely happens. So when they're like, "Oh, I bought this bow and arrow from like the United States," it's like a nice big thing, you know, like it's quality, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. In my mind, I think it was him throwing the United States in there somehow.
Yeah. Maybe we're reading too much into this.
Maybe we are. Maybe it was just a kid dressed up in an American.
Garb. Native American garb.
Native American garb. Because he was for a while running around the house with bows and arrows, and I was like, where is this going?
Yeah, the whole.
Maybe that's capitalism.
Yeah, or just like the mindlessness of the wealthy taking care of overlooking their son, taking care of their son, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just kind of adds to the gullibility, I guess, of the wife, who was, I think, the target mainly for the poor family, because whenever they convinced her to do things, she would also keep it a secret from the father, because she's like kind of running the house. I don't think she really had a job.
No, she didn't, because he says at one point, "Oh my God!" When the maid left, he was like, "Oh my God, she doesn't know how to cook or do anything. She just looks pretty."
I think the part with the most tension for me was when the rich family comes home.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yes, and they're hiding under the table, and I'm like, oh my God!
And then everything that's going on, like the rich couple, like just going at it on the couch.
Oh my God! Yes.
Like talking shit about.
And then
the
they're
smell.
getting down.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh man, that's like the worst place you want to be.
Jesus.
Like anybody that's ever shared a room with somebody and they're getting a little, nookie on the side, it's just uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
It's a little awkward. Yeah.
I mean, if it's in the same room, I gotta go.
And then let alone it's your boss.
and you're in their home. And you're hiding
and you
from
just
him.
drank all their alcohol and ate all their food and just like talk, like we're just enjoying the hell out of their
talk
stuff.
About tension. The tension was crazy in that scene.
And then you really do feel like that emotional switch when he's talking about the smell of Kim's shirt, and you see like the look.
Part.
I mean, his eyes aren't even open, but you've been there before where you're so embarrassed, and you know nobody knows that you're listening, but you are in fact there. It's like, man, that's when it sinks in.
And there was nothing
he could do about it.
Also, there's nothing he could do about his smell.
Yeah,
it's almost like his smell was his class.
Yeah,
and
he couldn't even though he was lying, it was always there.
Yeah,
he could pretend to be top notch, like what was it called, like some kind of classy driver or something like that. But he was always and still was going to be. Because the woman,
pauper. And then the woman, the wife says, "Oh yeah, I've smelled that in the subways."
Yeah, and then his children are there, and it's like anytime like a parent is like being like belittled in front of their own child, it's not something you want to really be a part of.
But I love that part because then they brought it back at the end
for that cathartic moment. Yeah.
Yes, when the man who was living in the basement comes out, and it's just like this slow motion shot, and you see the father, the rich father, come in contact with the man from the basement, and he kind of like grabs his nose, like, oh, there's that smell.
Right, because he's trying to get his keys from Mr.
And
Kim.
then the poor dad sees this, and he's like,
he's just triggered.
Hell no.
He's like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play your game anymore. I'm not doing this for money. I hate your guts type of thing. And he just goes and offs him right there in front of everybody.
And then you see the blood again all over the place, just splattering everywhere.
I had no idea where I guess my sister would have known. She's a lot quicker, I think, at kind of detecting stuff. But I didn't put it really together so quickly that he was back in the bunker. I don't know. After the mom and the son went to trial and all that.
Well, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way you would know that. It was because he left. He ran out of the house.
I think there was a moment when the son's talking, like aftermath. He's kind of narrating what's going on, and he says something about there's like only one other place that I think he might have been or something like that. Or he goes back to the house after like the whole trial is done, after the cops kind of cool it on their tail and everything. And he's like watching a new family live in there because who wants to live in the house where their family was murdered? And he sees the light is flickering again, and he's like, "That's not a malfunction. That's somebody down there."
Morse code.
And then he uncoded that, and his father was there. And there's so many clever things with this movie.
So many.
And I think that's what makes it so awesome. Like this tale might be similar to a lot of like rich dad poor dad kind of tales and all that kind of stuff, but it's really cool. I don't think there was green screen in this movie or like an explosion or even a gunshot, and it was all just down to character, down to story, and you're just with it the whole time, and it's so close to I think a normal day and a normal life, and it's a lot of.
It could happen to anybody.
It could, and like a lot of major cinema, like movie house cinema, isn't like that, and like this movie came out in May, and we saw it November or late October.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it's been a while that it's been going around, and it's been getting a lot of like notice and praise and all that kind of stuff, which it should. It's really good.
Thank you, Mario, for the recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Is there anything else you want to say about the movie at all, or I think we kind of covered?
Yeah, I really want to go back, see it again. I feel like it's that kind of movie that has so many little, details, nooks and crannies of information that come around again. There were the obvious ones, like the smell and
the stone. Yeah,
the stone. Because what happens is the poor people's house gets flooded, and they lose everything except this goddamn piece of rock.
And like, why would he go after that? I guess,
and then he keeps the rock and takes it with him, this big rock. I mean, why?
Oh, he said something like, the father's like, you're like clinging to that stone, and he's like, it's clinging to me kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's kind of haunted, I think, by his actions at that point.
Yeah.
But he knows that they have to figure a way out of that situation, and then he tries to go and kill the guy, and the guy kills it, or tries to kill him, but he's just concussed severely.
Oh God! But I would love to see it again, because it
to catch any other small details.
All those other details, and also I don't remember the soundtrack either.
Yeah, maybe it was that good. It just kind of put you in the mood.
So many things to look at. Yeah.
No, it was really awesome.
But it was scary too. It's not a horror film, but it was goddamn scary.
Yeah, not a horror film, not a mindfuck, just a solid film through and through.
Yeah.
I think it was great. Nice.
We loved it.
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, my name is Bryan Navarro.
I'm Ellie Diez.
And this is Once Up on a Screen, and thank you very much for watching. Cool. What'd you think?
I'm like, God, we could talk forever.
Yeah, we can keep on going.
No, that was good. That was good.